So it's been a while since I've been able to actively be excited for a Black Clover episode, and here it is, because episode 49, which was going to be one of the last few episodes of the series before the whole big news of having the extension of about, we don't know how many more episodes that we're going to be getting after this, but this was going to be one of the last few that we ever had for the series. So interesting enough that that this episode, you can tell that there is a huge major difference in the quality of near everything. Of surprisingly enough, music was one of them that was actually really turned up in this episode, where it's like we got some tracks that were really good in this one. We got some actual good key animators working on this, like the soundtrack, the VO. It was all just really top notch throughout this entirety of this episode. It was like, this is where they wanted to end their little bombastic note for like the series, and it's like, even looking at like the whole little snippet of like, here's episode 48, you compare it to like this 49, and you're like, oh, that's night and day. They're like, I've seen people trying to defend some of those episodes where it's like, nah, it's still good, like, don't worry. And it's like, no, you look at those episodes compared to what this one delivered, and I'm like, yeah, no, this is A team versus B team, and it's like, finally they were able to do a full episode. It was like, what? There was not even once where I noticed the character being like fully like off modeled and just looking like having those really dragging on still shots. It was like everything was like very movement, just so much energy going throughout every episode. Like people were like flashing about, like going around screaming, and it was like, it was all like just sheer joy that I was having for a lot of this episode, as like you get cut to it, it's like digging that sword right into Vito, and everyone's like, holy shit, yes, we did it, and it's like, no, not yet, not, and he grabs it, it's like, thanks fucker, I wanted this sword, now we've got it. And I want to mention as well, there is one interesting thing about this episode. There are some changes from the source material, which I had to go back and I'm like, wait a minute, there was stuff. So one thing is that we've completely finished Volume 8 now, and now we're on Volume 9 of the manga. Now, it is, I believe we ended this at Chapter 72. There is a thing to notice about this where, like, he goes and says, I'm going to give you the most unmistakable despair, like, I've created, and he goes and he breaks Asta's arms. There is a difference in the anime with this. So one of the things you notice as well is that there is these markings being placed upon his arms. That's one thing you saw, and also, at least like if anything and all that, like where it was being described and all that, like it might have been just the translations and everything on there. And he's like, as he's like screaming, you know, fall into despair, despair, despair. He mentions that he only broke one of them. That was one that I like kind of really heavily caught up, and I'm like, wait, what? Like, because in the manga, it's both his arms. Both his arms are completely broken, and you've noticed that thing that happened to it, and I'm like, wait a minute. It's like, what is happening? Like, you know, I was like, oh, I was really worried then for a second. Then I'm like, oh no, is something actually going to be happening now? Like, is something going to be changing? And it made me wonder, it's like, could this kind of change around, like, some of the scenes? And it's like, maybe where they wanted to originally end the anime, it was like, where did they wanted to do something that was going to be hinted on later on? Like, that was maybe like, so many ideas were like flowing from my head, like when that was happening. I was like, oh god, no, don't change the material, because I really like the stuff that the aftermath of this battle. There's a lot of important stuff to come out of it, and it's like, especially with what happens to Asta, and I'm like, no, I wanted to see more of that. And it's like, there's a great moment where they drag him out, and Asta's like, no, not yet, I can't, like, not now, like that, as like his arms are busted, and Vanessa like pins all these wires into him. It's like, this is the best I can do, like, I'm pretty much just going to be controlling your body from now on. And we had a great moment in this episode where Opening 1 comes back. I'm like, fuck yeah, Opening 1, I love that song. And it comes blasting through, and he's swiping him down, and like Vanessa, everyone's just trying like the last little juice of the power that they have left in their magic, and it's like, this is all what we've got left, for our power. It's just like, and even throughout that, it's like, Asta, are you okay? And it's like, there's not an inch of like, not even thinking about the pain right now, just keep staring right into the eyes of Vito. That's all I've got. And it's like, And there was even some great moments where you saw like Vanessa like doing like all this really crazy like choreography with like her wires and everything. I'm like, that's why I want to see Vanessa doing like these high trick shit that she has with her wires. Like, makes it seem more like a maestro for the most part. And it's like this great shot of Asta just like going behind like a feral, and like I think as well it was Vanessa as well where she's like, I will support your broken arm as well. There was like two parts if I remember, and I'm like, didn't say arms, and I was like, huh. I think, like, especially with the preview, because the preview tells a different story, I'm just going to have a look at that, but for the most part, that could have been a scene that could have been changed on there, and I'm like, I really want to know, because, again, the next arc after this, we need those, we need that light novel content. We actually do, because a lot of us are going to be really fucking confused, and especially with how manga readers were about this, where it's like, who the fuck are some characters coming up, and they're like, we don't know them. So yeah, there's going to be reasons and all that, and when we get to that arc and all that, I'm going to be more heavily talking about it, but we won't be seeing it for like a little while. So, but you also get to see in this episode as like they're all flying around shooting their crazy shit, and like Vito's not being able to catch up anymore because his plan backfired, having the demons like Slayer Sword going inside him. It's like, this is actually absorbing some of my powers right now. My instinct is like, he's finally realizing that flying against everyone has kind of weakened him right now after all this time. He's just like, you know what, shut your goddamn mouth, kid. They're both flying at each other, go screaming through, like it's still not enough. And it's like, then you get a change where like you see Asta and you see snippets of that form again. And I know a lot of people have seen it now, especially if you're Black Clover, if you know about like the continuation, and there's been a teaser shown with Asta. But without a doubt, my favorite moment throughout the entire episode, and it was fucking gorgeous. It is exactly what I loved about opening 3, and it's the demon like screeching, and there's this amazing like tornado effect going around him. I'm like, that is without a doubt, like I remember seeing like the Twitter video of the animator that did that, so I know exactly that is one dude that did that. He is fucking incredible, because you get to see like the multiple like redrawn and effects and how many times he goes over it just to do this one scene, and it's like, that is amazing. Like, I was like, that really blew me away, and I got actively excited. And I'm like, I don't care if they change some shit around here like that. That looks really goddamn awesome to see, and especially when you see the Asta with like the black marks on his face, and like they're teasing it. They just keep teasing like that, and it's just like, and you see that demon, and then like, oh, and then the opening one just starts cutting in, and he just starts running at him. I'm like, oh, that's great. I love that. Like, that was a really nice moment. It's like, again, it's like, that's the thing that you just got to accept with like shonen anime, especially the long ongoing ones, and this is why we just don't get these kind of shows like that anymore. It's because straight up, like, we get episodes like this, like, and they're amazing, they're gorgeous, and it's like the same thing with like that Boruto episode that came out, where it's like, this is absolutely incredible. This is some of the best like animation you'll see for like an ongoing like action anime, and it's like, it's amazing when it happens, but it's like, you have to put up with like so much just quality control. And I know as well that like, especially like Black Clover's had a real issue with that. That's been out of its control due to a lot of like the B team that they originally had was like going under bankruptcy and stuff like that. But it's like, there's even that great moment that they go back to like the the current opening 4, and Asta does like a flip, and then it goes into this inky, sketchy state, and he just swipes the sword down on Vito and just takes it and takes a chunk out of his chest. And I'm like, ooh, that is lethal, and that is great. And it's like, that's a blunt sword as well, and he just ducks like right into him. It's like, everyone's like, holy shit, we won. Let's fucking go. We beat him, thank God. We're finally happy. No, Vito gets up for one more round. One more, and he's like, fuck all of you. After having this little tiny flashback about seeing like a little bit about like his past and everything, it's like you see a little bit more about why exactly he just keeps screaming about despair all the time, because he just hates humanity. And it's like, look, they even take care, like, humans destroying these little birds, like, why should I care, and all that. All these humans bring about is just despair, and Lee kind of like trying to show like the betterment of life and everything. And then your boy Yami comes out, because Yami's like started screaming, like losing his shit when he saw Vito going at it and blowing out, and he's like, no, no, that's enough. No, he's like losing it, and something starts glowing out of him, and then you see him go out and somehow got out of that building with the where like the whole dimension was trapped. He's like, how the hell did you just get out of there, Yami? And he's like, well, let's just say you guys kind of like inspired me a little bit as well, which we find out Yami learned a new spell due to the fact that he gave a shit about his comrades and he was worrying, and it was like, let's try this out. There, like, the money shot, like, and I was gonna say, there's a lot of money shots in this episode, and it's just like, money/talent shots. There's that bit with Yami with the sword, and it's like, oh, alright. You're like, they're like, oh, he about to fuck someone up right now. Grabs the sword, Dark Cloak Dimension Slash, cuts Vito in half, and like I said, it took everybody to take down Vito. It took Asta, it took Vanessa, Gray, Gauch, like Charmy, like Finral, fucking, like, all of them. Noelle, and some more. It took all the Black Balls and pals to even take this fucker down, and that is why I like this fight so much. Like, and I'm glad that at least the final part of it, like, went out, because, again, like, the content for last week was good, it just was fucking hideous, and the same... And then, like, the one before that as well was like, I know that. And I know also as well last week they changed some scenes around because we wasn't supposed to see that Vanessa stuff yet. Which, again, like, since how quick, like, these episodes are in production and everything, it just really just goes to say that, like, a lot of that was put in there, I imagine, just because these episodes, like, this is still where we were going to have a 51 episode run. Same thing where it's like, this was going to be with our stinger for like this show for the most part, and then the two are going to be like kind of like a little bit of an aftermath thing, which considering with what we're going to be getting, I think I'm very curious to see what our original episode 51 would have been like. Obviously there would have been some changes to scenes, I imagine, but it's like, I would have loved to see what the original episode 51, because I think it would have ended on a very somber, kind of sad note a little bit, like, on there. It's like, and I think it would be definitely one of those endings where it's like, yeah, no, there you go. There, if you want to find out what happens next, read a manga kind of thing, and it's like, fuck's sake, we don't get a full resolution, but, again, like, there's stuff like that where it's like, I'm curious to see where it's going to go down. Again, I'm happy that we are going to be getting the Witch arc, because I love the, like I said, I really like the arc after, like, after this one, because, like, again, it goes really high up, like, where it's like, after the Royal Invasion, like, I really think, like, Black Clover started to shine a little bit. Obviously, there's, like, issues with, like, the snow arc, especially, like, in the anime as well. Like, they could change scenes for, like, stupid reasons. But I really felt like it kept, like, going up, like, a lot more, and it started breaking more out of the shell. And it's like, and again, like, I'm happy that it's like, it was episodes like this where I was like, oh, thank God I can stop being a moany, whiny bitch every week. Thank you. Like, I'm just happy where it's like, I don't need, like, ultimate, like, money animated talents for a show like this. I don't need, like, every, like, fucking Smoking Six style animator in the world working on the show, but it's just, you can say, like, it can just be shown that it's like, this is what happens when competent people make it. This is what happens when a team gives a shit about this, like, is making it, and they want to, like, bring out a much more of a higher, like, quality thing than what has been being delivered. It's like, that is just a sheer night and day for this. Like, so it's almost looking at midnight and then the sun as well. So yes, like, you're seeing the two parallels with there, and overall, yeah, I'm very curious to see the next core then, I guess, since we're in here, like, we're already like a year's worth of episodes into this show for the most part, so I look forward to the next couple episodes, because I want to know how they're going to be handling some of this material, because clearly changes have been there, and they have gone through a few scenes, and I feel like, is it going to be as drastic as we think it is, like with that whole Asta's arm thing, or do you think that was a mistranslation, or like, what do you think about that? Because like I said, before this video came out, I read both Volume 8 and 9 straight away. I was like, I need to know, I need to see if there was just any kind of changes that they were doing. I needed to go through there, like, picking through with teeth, and I've even said this before, it doesn't have to be a one-to-one version of the manga to the anime format. I'm completely fine with that. I love the changes. Like, heck, a lot of the fight stuff that they were doing this episode, and like all the little details of like Vanessa doing like all the crazy like wire stuff, that's all new stuff. And it's like, no, because that person was like, I want to spend like a couple hours just animating Vanessa. Like, that's just some crazy Japanese man's doing, and it's like, fuck it, that stuff's great. I love like the little additional stuff that they do. They really like put more into a character's kind of like visually, like, whereas like you get a little bit more kind of personality and kind of how they kind of act with like a combat, and it's like, that's what you get from that. And overall, like, I really liked this. Like, this episode was great. This, like, I can't even remember. I think the last time I really liked an episode like that was the elite stuff, like the Yami elite stuff, where it was like, yeah, no, we get these guys back again. And then after that, it's been like down to like good to woof as we've been having. So overall, yeah, like this episode was great, and I think like a lot of people are gonna be happy with like the veto decision, where it's like, yeah, at the end of the day, it took all of them. It took Yami, it took Asta, no, it took all of them with their fucking power. So it isn't just main protagonist saves the day again. It's like, no, it took an entire fucking squad to take him down. And it's like that, it gives a nice like pan to like, oh, this is what we're going to be dealing with. And we still have 2 more of these guys, and then we have Leet, who we knew that Leet was under lock and key for the most part when he was fighting Yami. So it's like, okay, let's go and deal with these guys and all that. So very much looking forward to the next act. There you can see what you guys think in the comment section down below. But that is all from me, though. Thank you as always for watching. Let me know what you thought about the Black Clover episode down below. You know, hit that subscribe, hit that like, hit the bell as well, because, you know, that's all the things that we got to do these days. Thank you, and I'll see you guys, though, next time.